Yo, what up, Longshoreman? I was thinking about this video. I had to do my research and, try to get a grasp of this. And it's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of scary out here. Excuse me. With these tariffs Trump has placed on China. And, a lot of our goods come from China. So I gotta be careful what I say. I gotta think all the way strategically with this. I'm gonna make sure I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but like with the tariffs, a lot of our goods come from China. And I was talking to a coworker of mine the other day. We were talking about the tariffs, and he was saying, back in the 80s and the 90s, these people have gave our jobs away and sent it over and gave it to China. And the thing I do agree with Trump on is that those jobs should have been sent over there. They should have been in the United States so we can have jobs, or our kids, or jobs for the youth they will have. But then again, you think about it, a lot of those jobs they sent overseas, shit, a lot of people, they probably want to be, they don't want to be in no damn sweatshop working, stitching shoes up and all that, and with like TVs, like I believe like certain things, they should have kept that in the United States instead of sending those jobs overseas. And I talked to some people on the West Coast, and I asked like how it's worked so far for you guys, because you look on TikTok and YouTube, the damn fake ass reporters. Yeah, the port is dried up. There's no ships coming in. The West Coast, they're drying up. Now, if you from the West, people on my YouTube channel, my subscribers, or you may be new, y'all put in the comments, let me know how the tariffs, if you're on the West Coast, or with ILW or ILA, put in the comments and let me know how if the tariffs are affecting y'all or not. And like I said about the West Coast, I talked to somebody from the West Coast, and they said that, it's kind of hurting us right now, because they're casual. They only have like a few years on the dogs, and they was getting like I think they said like they was averaging, like they're casual, they was getting like 45 days, and then like with the tariffs, they only getting 1 day a week, so that going by seniority. So all the older guys, they get no jobs because they probably thinking this, oh shit, there's no telling when it's gonna slow up. So let me go ahead and just get all I can get, whether I have a double, triple, whatever. I gotta get this money because there's no telling how long this shit gonna last. And I'm like, damn. So that kind of brought me back to the Gulf Coast oil spill. When we had the oil spill, that messed us up. That really did, because that went down to, we didn't have a container ship at the time, but we had a general cargo. And matter of fact, we did have the container ship, but we were just getting started with the container ship. But for like the general cargo, work was slow for us, and the only people that was going to work was the guys that had the seniority. Hell, I even left the docks. I left the port to go work at the oil spill. I had to keep some money. I had to keep some money coming in, and I didn't have that much responsibility, but still, I wanted to keep making money. And I went from like 1 day a week to, there was some weeks I wasn't getting the job. I found unemployed, and I'm like, this is some BS. So that's when I wanted to go work the oil spill. Now the oil spill was cool. That's a whole nother story. I met some good guys out there. I worked with a few companies. And then once all that blew over, I guess like, I say about a year or so, gradually the work started coming back in, and then we was working back on the regular. So that's how I think it may go with this tariff stuff. Now, I don't know how long it's gonna last. They saying like mid-May, it's gonna be bad for people, so who knows? It's gonna be mid-May. So far as for us, we still been getting work. Well, I think this week gonna be busy. Last week was hella good for us. And I'm looking on Instagram, on people's stories and stuff, they're still working with the ILA. They're still working. The West Coast, like I said, I talked to that one person, and from what I see, it look like people are still working. As far as like the docks drying up, I don't know. I mean, I know they had enough ships came in. Who knows? It might go like this. But they had enough ships. We had enough ships come in. So all that's straight. But who knows how it's gonna be for everybody within the next couple of weeks? Like, if it be 1 ship, 2 ships, whatever, for everybody, or some people or some ports may not get to ship it all. Now, if it gets like that, yes, we're gonna be in a recession, a Great Depression, because everything comes, a lot of our goods and manufacturers comes from China. Now, if we would have had all that stuff in the United States, this wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, y'all put in the comments, let me know how y'all feel, how y'all think the tariffs gonna affect us. Like I said, we have in the next couple of weeks, we're really going to know. Like, these next couple of weeks are going to be real interesting. Yeah, it's like out our hand. I know there's some people. Well, yeah, that's what you voted for, this and that. But I think it was bound to happen anyways. But like I said, a lot of those jobs, they went overseas. They should have kept that shit here, or build more jobs in the United States, make more products in the United States. So like, why people can't see that? Why they can't agree with that? Yeah, there are some jobs that people don't want to work, and I believe that's probably why they sent it over there, because people probably like, nah, hell no, I don't want to work in no sweatshop. I don't want to do this and that. But let's say like we had a place, let's say we had a big manufacturer that was making TVs in the United States. That's just a prime example. They had making TVs in the United States. Hell, people would do those jobs, I would think. Long as y'all paying people right and not paying people on the table, and pay people for what they're worth. Because you know how these jobs are. They don't want to pay you for real. They want to pay you less and make you work hard. I've been there before. I was doing construction work. They're paying me $7.50. Or $7.25. Now I've been with them for like 2 years. I got a quarter raise. And you know, I came to my sense and I was like, hell no, this not gonna cut it. It was like back in 2006, back in 2006, 2007, busting my ass. And then, you know, I left that. I worked at the Hyundai plant, and that was cool and all, but I ended up quitting them too, because I'm thinking I'm gonna get hired on with the company, got with a temp service. At that time, you had to go through a temp service for so long, and then they said they would decide to hire you. It's up to the company. It was up to Hyundai. And you know what really got me was they just hired a guy for Hyundai. I'm working with temp service, and they had a temp service guy training a company guy. You know what I'm saying? I felt some type of way about that. Like, man, you know what? I'm about to put my 2 weeks notice in. This is gonna be a wrap. Then that's what my dad told me. He's like, hey boy, just go ahead, come on back home. I'm like, all right, how much they paying, Dad? He said, you'll find out when you get here, but that little money you making up there, you can make that down here in a couple of days. And you know, that was the best decision I made in my life. If not, I would have came down. I probably eventually would have came, but I'm glad I did come, because my dad was trying to get me to come like for the past, he was putting it in my head for like the past 2 years. And you know what I'm saying, I had a friend of mine, he was like, no man, you don't want to go down to the docks, to the port, man. People, they dying, they getting killed. People get killed anywhere, everywhere. You can walk outside the house and get struck by lightning. You can be jogging and a car hits you. You know what I'm saying? But I think he didn't want me to. I think it could be a little hating on the side. But like I said, put it in the comments and let me know how y'all port is operating. Like, is ports dried up? Because I don't think nobody did a video on this at all. And then, you know, I think it could be some political too, though, some political stuff. But I don't even want to get all deep in depth into that right there. Nope, not gonna do it. The like, share, follow. Like I said, put in the comments if is your port affected by this, or is your port, are y'all still working? But the one thing I know, time will tell everything. So we're gonna see in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna get real interesting. Now, if it gets like that, like I said, if there's no ships coming in, everybody's screwed, the whole world is screwed. So then that's when people gonna panic. Hell, people probably already panicking now. And you know, Yeah, y'all need to go ahead and stock up now because we don't know how this gonna turn out. So y'all go ahead and stock up. I'm Eric the Longshoreman. Follow on Instagram, Eric_Longshoreman. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.